Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my January edition of the Movie Nerds Club, a monthly series in which I join some fellow FilmTube YouTubers as we each give our top 5 of a new subject each and every month. And here to kick off 2021, our January theme is disaster movies. Yeah, in most ways, it kind of feels like we all just survived our own real life disaster movie that was 2020. But we're here, we made it through, and I have to say, watching disasters on the big screen is a whole lot more fun than whatever the hell that past year was. That's for sure. But please, once you are done here, make sure that you head on over to my fellow YouTubers' channels and check out their top 5, give them a like and a subscribe, and share your own personal lists with us. The channel links for Rachel's Reviews, Ren Geekness, Mainly Movies, Ryan Cam, their videos will all be in the description down below. For my own personal video, finding disaster movies is interesting because creature features could be lumped in there depending on how you look at it. Is it just natural disasters? Is it alien attack disasters? Is it viral disaster type of movies, a la Quarantine or Contagion? As a group, we decided to leave the category very broad, and that just made my job a whole lot harder. But before I go ahead and jump into my official top 5, let's go ahead and shout out a few honorable mentions. The Day After Tomorrow is a big, dumb disaster movie that I've always had a soft spot for. Maybe it's just Jake Gyllenhaal. But once again, Emmerich delivers a big, bombastic, disastrous film that provided enough thrills and some fun commentary and character motivations that I have a good time with it. Independence Day is one of the quintessential disaster movies and certainly one of the defining movies of the 1990s. Will Smith at the height of his superstar powers with, once again, Roland Emmerich delivering big, fun, cheesy action film. Didn't quite make my actual list, but I'd definitely be lying if I said, 1, I don't have a nostalgic soft spot for Independence Day, but 2, that I don't have a good time with it. And then finally, my last honorable mention is Godzilla, and I am lumping in the OG from the 50s as well as the 2014 American version of Godzilla. I love them both, and I want to smash them together in this honorable mention spot. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, just period. And the only reason actually that Godzilla isn't making an appearance on my actual list is because I don't really see, personally, creature features as disaster movies. And while yes, Godzilla causes a lot of destruction, I just struggle categorizing Godzilla in with these other disaster films. But I definitely wanted to give a shout out to the King of the Monsters in this video because I know many will see Godzilla films and King Kong, those big animal movies, as disaster films. So coming in at number 5, I have Twister. Another pretty cheesy 90s film, but one that I absolutely adore. First of all, the Twister action is a lot of fun, really intimidating, and I think sparked a craze of many a 90s kid wanting to get a little bit too close to a tornado. The great thing about Twister is that it knows when to have fun. The cow, obviously, flying around in the tornado. Moments like that give a little bit of levity. However, the emotional and character-driven, impactful moments also really deliver. Helen Hunt is obviously fantastic, as is Bill Paxton, and they have wonderful chemistry together. It's a blast, and I still love Twister, so it had to make my top 5. Coming in at number 4, I have Everest. Jake Gyllenhaal makes another appearance. Now, Everest is a little bit different, I'd say, than a lot of these other films. It's a very unique type of situational natural disaster that takes place here on Earth. This unique set of people not really listening and people not really taking precaution as weather rolls in on the peak of Mount Everest while these people are still up there. And while I think parts of Everest maybe run just a tad long, overall I think it's a really moving film. It's really tragic. It really delivered on all of those emotional, impactful moments, as well as the kind of death-defying spectacle of it all. I got to see this in IMAX for the screening, and it really hit me hard. When it comes to emotional impact, I think Everest is one of the top tier disaster films. To begin, at number 3, I have The Impossible. Another film based on an actual event, however, not quite the true story of Everest. The Impossible follows a white family, which definitely illustrates some of the problematic moments, but trying to survive a tsunami hit. Once again, this one is a huge emotional gut punch. We have the big disaster moment, obviously, when the waters really start smashing in. But from there, it is still a disaster movie in the sense that our family here is trying, 1, to stick together as best they can and find the other members, but 2, having to go through destruction and despair to get to that end mission. Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman, Tom Holland all deliver amazing performances in this highly underseen film. Once again, much like Everest, one that really delivers when it comes to that emotional resonance. And again, at number 2, I have Deepwater Horizon. I love Deepwater Horizon. It was actually one of the biggest surprises for me the year that it came out. Personally, this is my favorite of the Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg collaborative films. And once again, it tells the story of an actual true event. You'll notice that's a theme in my top 5. Once again, you find yourself really frustrated with the humans involved. And like Everest, there's so much human error that leads to the disaster at hand. But wow, the set pieces in this are stunning. The visual effects look gorgeous. And while we don't take a whole lot of time to fully develop these characters, the film does a good enough job of quickly attaching you to these people. You're on the edge of your seat, really invested in what happens to them, and furthermore invested in what happens to the company that caused all of this madness. It's exciting, it's emotional, it looks beautiful, and I think it really combines everything I look for in a great disaster flick. And then finally, my number 1 favorite disaster film of all time is Titanic. Honestly, it really could not be any other film. James Cameron's sweeping romantic epic still stands alone as the cream of the crop when it comes to execution of a disaster film. Now, it may seem like an odd choice to put in here as a disaster film, seeing as the entire first half is purely a romantic period piece. But wow, when that iceberg hits, it spirals into a really tense, really traumatic, and really emotional experience all the way through to the end. And that's what James Cameron does so well, is unlike some of these other films that I've mentioned, most of these other films, Cameron takes the time to really invest you in our characters, to really flesh them out, give you all the reasons in the world to be rooting for them, their romance, and their survival, as well as rooting against a couple others on the ship. But this is the best kind of historical fiction where you take a traumatic event and honestly deliver the emotional heft that it deserves, pay its respects to those that lost their lives, while still building that fictional story that gets the viewer invested and fully on board. Now, I'm not really a big romance person. However, I do think Titanic is one of the greatest films of all time. I think it has kind of a cheesy connotation these days. The overrated crowd has definitely swooped in on this film, but it was a sensation for a reason, and it deserved all of the awards and all of the acclaim that it did receive. And it stands not only as one of the best romances of all time, but in my opinion, it stands as the best disaster film of all time. So, that is my ranking. Those are my top 5 favorite disaster movies. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, please make sure to head on over to Rachel's Reviews, Ren Geekness, Mainly Movies, Ryan Cam, watch their top 5s, leave a like and sub over there, get into all of the comments, talk with us, share your rankings. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!